Okay. Make sure everything is going before I go.
I can't hear you through the mic. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me still?
No. Hmm?
Okay. I'll tell you when you're gonna go live, okay?
Okay. Let me turn up my speakers a little bit.
Don't worry about it, because you're not gonna be talking to me. Intro tonight.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me for this week's discussion. As you can see, the topic is toxic femininity. Is it a myth or a major problem? And we're going to really dive deep in tonight because a lot of times we hear about toxic masculinity, but we don't really discuss that often the same behavior traits within women. So I wanted to dive into that discussion tonight because I feel that, for one, it's fair to discuss both sides of the spectrum, and also because I do have a lot of men on my Facebook page, and I see often a lot of men stating that in relationships, a lot of times men are ignored, their concerns are not, valued and things like that. So I really wanted to get into this conversation tonight because I feel that is something that is very important for us to examine. But before we get into tonight's discussion, I do want to go ahead and thank our sponsor, buhosting.com, for putting these shows together every week. I also would like to announce the relaunch of my book coming, Grown Little Girls. And for those of you who were here with me last week when I made the formal announcement, I hope that you all went to go and check out my website, Shelly Speaks ShellySpeaksTruth.com/urban country films. Again, that's ShellySpeaksTruth.com/urban country films. I hope you all went to go and check that out. The book is up on my website. You can read up on it and get more information. You can also pre-order the book at my website. So please go ahead and check out my website, ShellySpeaksTruth.com/urban country films, where you can read up on the book, get a brief synopsis about what the book is about. And also, you can check out the Facebook page for the book, Grown Little Girls on Facebook. There is more information up there. Now, as always, the phone lines will be open tonight, and I would like for everyone to go ahead and chime in the conversation and leave your comments about tonight's discussion, because I do love the interaction from you all who are watching, and I really do appreciate when you leave your comments and your thoughts about the topics. The first thing that I really wanted to get into tonight on the topic of toxic femininity is domestic violence at the hands of women against men. And this is something that is not really talked about as often as it should be. A lot of times men are embarrassed to speak about abuse that they are receiving at the hands of women in relationships. And I think that this is something that needs to be discussed more often than it is being discussed, because it is a bigger issue than many people are willing to acknowledge. Now, a lot of men say that they don't really speak out about these situations because of fear of being ridiculed by society. They don't want to be seen as less masculine. They don't want to be seen as weak. And therefore, a lot of times, domestic violence situations at the hands of women against men, they go underreported. And I feel like that is a really, really big issue within society when men feel like they have to endure abuse because, a lot of times men are picked at. There's jokes made about men being abused by women, but this is no laughing matter because, these situations could end up and end up being a complete detriment to men, at some point even causing them their lives because they're not speaking out about what is happening to them in these relationships with toxic women. We see this very, very often. And unfortunately, a lot of people think that it's amusing or something to be joked about when men are being abused at the hands of women. And it's really no laughing matter. It's something that is very toxic and is something that needs to be spoken out against. Now, a lot of people say that men usually initiate these situations and men usually initiate violence in relationships. And although that may be the case in certain instances, there's never an excuse where a man should sit back and allow himself to be abused in a situation because he is afraid that he will be ridiculed by society. That's something that society needs to really examine, and people need to understand that that is a very, very serious situation, that no one should be enduring violence at the hands of anyone, regardless to whether it's a man or a woman that is, administering that abuse. Now, something else that I really wanted to get into that I found to be really crazy. And this is something that a report came out last year about this. And, I looked at the report and I thought to myself, wow, this is really trifling. But I didn't actually know that this was a real thing and this was something that people actually do. And for those of you who are wondering what I'm talking about something that is referred to as a foodie call. And that might sound ridiculous to some of you, but before we jump into that, I do want to go ahead and play a clip of a report that came out about these foodie calls. And basically what it is that women are going out on dates with men that they have absolutely no romantic interest in. And this is all, under the guise of getting a free meal. And to me, this is something that is very, very ridiculous because there's never a time in any situation where if you're not interested in someone where you should be wasting their time. There is many men that you can go out with and date that you actually have interest in who will be willing to buy you a meal. So these women are very, very toxic. And I'm going to go ahead and roll that clip so that you all can get more of an understanding of what I'm talking about. And after we roll that clip, I'll be right back to discuss.
Looking for love, someone to share their life with, hearts, flowers, all the romantic stuff.
Other times, girls are just hungry. And it might surprise you how often it happens and what it says about the lady. Marcelino Benito explains.
Houston, we've all heard of the booty call.
It's a really sweet gesture, but this is not a great time.
Hey, Dad, what's a booty call?
If you haven't, well, let me fill you in.
It's when a man or a woman calls a man or a woman to come to their home late at night for the express purpose of getting together and then leaving right afterward.
But ladies, have you ever been on a foodie call? A new study out of 2 California universities found more than a third of women only go on dates with guys to score a free meal. That's right, girls fake interest for free food.
I showered, I showed up, I'm starving, and I could use a drink.
Girls gotta eat. Researchers surveyed more than 1,000 women and found those who did go on foodie calls had done it an average of 5 times. But some girls admitted to going on over 200 dates with zero romantic interest just for the grub. Crazy, right? And the study says it speaks volumes about the girls taking advantage of guys' wallets. Most women likely to go on a foodie call were found to be more self-involved, manipulative, and lacked empathy for others. All signs of dark personality traits like psychopathy, narcissism, and Machiavellianism. So guys, what can you do to avoid becoming a foodie call victim? Dating experts say you don't have to pay for every meal. Pace yourself, take it slow, and give yourself a chance to see if she's really into you or the shrimp scampi sitting right in front of her. Back to you.
Okay, guys, so as you've seen in that clip, if you are as astonished as I am, because like I said, this is a report that came out, I believe, last year, but I didn't know that this was an actual thing where women are going out on dates with men that they have absolutely no interest in for a free meal. Now, this is something that is very, very toxic. And as you can see in the clip, they describe that these women have a total disregard for the person's feelings that they are doing this to. And my concern with that is that a lot of times as women, we talk about how badly we are treated in relationships or, in the dating scene in general. But we have to understand that it is very contradicting for women to go out on dates with men just to get free meals when these men are thinking that there is some form of interest in them for the woman to even entertain them on a date in the first place. Now, a lot of people said that they seen nothing wrong with this and that this is something that women do quite often. But I reject that because I feel like there's something very wrong with this. And I don't feel like this is something that women should be engaging in. I feel like it sends the wrong message. And I also feel like it dirties, kind of muddies the waters in the dating pool for women who want to actually, go out on dates with men and get to know them and build something meaningful that hopefully leads to a relationship. I think that it does muddy the waters and it makes it very hard for women who don't operate like this to be able to meet men, because what happens is men see this and they feel like they don't want to take a chance on entertaining a woman because they could be being used. And that's another thing. A lot of people see nothing wrong with women using men. And that is something that is very, very problematic because a lot of times I'll hear women say in different circles that you need to get all you can get from a man. And I feel like if you don't have interest in that man, that is wrong for you to waste their time and, basically try to use them for material things when that particular man may have an interest in you. And again, a lot of women don't see a problem with that. So I feel that it's very important as a woman that we speak out against this. And as women who don't feel that this behavior is acceptable, I think that we should speak up, because a lot of times when men express their concerns for how they feel about how they're being treated by these toxic women, they receive a lot of flack for it. And, as women, I really think that it is something that we should do more. I feel like we should speak up and speak out against this because we, hopefully, when more women hear women speaking out about this, then they will realize the error of their ways and they will begin to see that this is not, this is very toxic behavior and this is not the way that we should go about carrying ourselves as women. Now, like I said before, a lot of women, within the comment sections of the videos when this came out, there was a good number of women that felt that it was something wrong with it. But on the other end, there were way too many women that felt like this particular behavior was acceptable. And what we have to understand is that if we want to be treated well by men, we have to do the same thing for them in return. We can't expect to have men hear our grievances and our concerns if we're not going to show them that same respect. And I think that that is something that as women we really need to examine, because we spend a lot of time talking about how unfairly we're treated and we don't really take the time to sit back and analyze where we could go wrong in these particular situations. Really quickly, we will be opening the phone line soon. So if you would like to call in and add to the conversation, the phone number for you to go ahead and call in is 954-372-0066. Again, that number is 954-372-0066. You can call in and share your concerns about tonight's topic. Also, if you are watching on YouTube, you can go ahead and leave your comments there. You can also leave your comments in the comment section of the Facebook Live. Um, before we jump into the next thing that I wanted to discuss, um, really quickly, again, I want to invite everyone to my website, shellyspeakstruth.urbancountryfilms.com. Again, that's shellyspeakstruth.urbancountryfilms.com. Please visit my website. Please subscribe to the website. Also, you can go ahead and check out my book with the upcoming re-release in 2021, Grown Little Girls. Please go ahead and check that out at the website. Also, you can check it out on the Facebook page, Grown Little Girls. Okay, so what I wanted to get into next is something that we often hear the phrase happy wife, happy life. And although I do agree with that phrase to a certain extent, I honestly feel that that phrase is misrepresented. And the reason I feel that that particular phrase is misrepresented is because while, yes, I can contest to the fact that as a woman, if a woman is happy in a relationship, then a man will more than likely have a happy life. A man will more than likely, be able to experience the fullness of a woman when she is happy. Because speaking as a woman, I know for a fact that when women are happy in relationships, we do have a tendency to go above and beyond for the man that we are in a relationship with. But where I feel that that particular phrase is flawed is that it only represents one side of the spectrum. And the thing of it is that I go by the phrase happy spouse, happy house. And I feel that that is very, very important because a lot of men have come out and stated that, they have been taught the phrase happy wife, happy life. And what that does is it leaves them suffering in silence because they're going out of their way to please their wife and please the woman that they are in the relationship with. But at the same time, their needs and wants are not being met. Their needs and wants are being pushed to the back burner because they're trying to fulfill that role of having a happy wife and a happy life. And, as women, a lot of times, unfortunately, some women, they abuse that phrase and they take it to the extent that everything in the relationship must go their way. And more than likely, that leads to the detriment of the relationship because you can't have only one person in the relationship being happy. And that's something that I feel that as a society, we need to rephrase that. We need to teach men that going into a relationship, that their happiness is important as well. Because when men get into a situation where they're trying to fulfill the needs of a woman and they're putting their feelings to the side, that relationship usually does not work out. Or some type of infidelity usually springs forward in the relationship when that all can be prevented if the guy comes into that relationship explaining that from the beginning that they're going to make each other happy. And I think that's something that we need to teach our young men from early on before they even get into relationships, that a happy spouse makes a happy house and that the home will have a lot more peace if both parties in the relationship are happy. um, Again, if you all want to go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section, please let me know how you feel about tonight's topic. I know I might receive some flack from some women, but that is fine. Like I said at the start of this video, I feel like this is something that has to be spoken about because a lot of men truthfully are suffering in silence. A lot of men, they want to express their grievances, but they don't want to be seen as too overly emotional. They don't want to be seen as someone who is vulnerable. And I feel that men need to do a better job as well about speaking about how they really feel and speaking up and not putting their feelings to the side in a relationship. Because again, that is the detriment of a relationship when men are allowing these toxic traits to permeate within women and leave them unchecked, all for the sake of trying to fulfill the happy wife, happy life phrase. Now, the next thing that I do want to point out and get into in tonight's discussion is men being asked to pay for everything in a relationship. This is something that is talked about a lot on social media platforms about men paying for everything in the relationship. And I think that what happens is by us pushing this out, what it does is it backs men into a corner because they don't want to be seen as someone who is cheap and doesn't want to treat women. But I feel again like that is something that is abused by toxic women. I've heard women say that they'll never pay for a date. And I feel like that is very one sided, especially when you're in a relationship with someone. Because when you're on the dating scene, 9 times out of 10, you know, on the first date, especially, my rule is that I feel that women should not pay for the first date. And the reason I feel that way is because 9 times out of 10, the man is initiating that first date. You know, he sees a woman that he's attracted to and he asks her out. I feel like if you're asking a woman out on a first date, that you should pay. But this particular situation did involve women who were in relationships with men, and they said that they would never pay for a date with their boyfriend or spouse. And I feel that that's completely ridiculous because what a lot of women fail to understand is that men at times they want to be treated like they're special as well. You know, it can't be a one-sided thing where women are always being treated to dinner or treated to a gift. And some women, you know, they feel that it's a rule that their man must pay for everything at all times. And again, what that does is it makes the man feel like he doesn't really mean as much as the woman in the relationship. And again, that is another problem. It's a very toxic trait within some women that they fail to examine. A lot of times, these toxic women, they don't want to take accountability for anything and they don't feel like they do anything wrong. So, again, for some of the women that are out there that feel like they're in a relationship with these men, they don't have to pay for anything. The man has to always treat them, always take them out. I really think that this is something that you need to re examine because, again, like I said before, men want to feel like they're special as well. They want to be treated, they want to be treated with respect. And honestly, I feel as though it's absolutely absurd for you to be in a relationship with a man that you say you care for and you don't feel like there's ever a time when you need to treat him or take him out on a date or make him feel as if he matters. And for some of you who hear that, where you may be saying to yourself that that doesn't sound realistic, you'll be surprised by the number of women who feel this way, the number of women who feel like they don't have any obligation to do anything nice for the person that they're in a relationship with, which, like I said before, I feel that that is something that is absolutely ridiculous. And you know, it really taints the image of women in general because some men feel like, why even bother? Why even get into a relationship at all if I'm going to be treated this way? And I feel like the concerns of men really do need to be listened to because you know, these particular instances are becoming very one-sided when men feel like their grievances are not being heard and women are basically just ignoring them. And obviously it's not all women, but the numbers are really starting to ramp up where women you know, are exhibiting these toxic traits in relationships and it's going unchecked. And I feel like, you know, we have an obligation as women who don't operate like this to speak out on it and let these women understand that we're not going to sit quietly and allow this to go on because as women who don't treat men this way, we don't want our image to be ruined by these toxic females. Again, I'm going to go to the comment section. If anybody has anything that they would like to contribute, please go ahead and drop a comment. The phone lines are open. You can go ahead and call in at 954-372-0066. Again, that's 954-372-0066. Go ahead and call in and share your thoughts on tonight's topic. Okay, so the next thing that I really wanted to touch on is this new occurrence where women are actually demanding that men pay their bills after, not even after, before they can even entertain them, take them out on a date or anything like that. They are requesting that men pay their bills. Now, if this sounds outrageous to you, I want to go ahead and run a quick video clip where a woman is expressing how she feels about men asking her out who have not offered to pay her bills. I'm going to go ahead and roll that quick clip and we'll come back and discuss it.
I don't want another motherfucking nigga to offer to take me out to eat, to take me to the movies, to take me nowhere. Unless y'all fucking asking me, can y'all pay my motherfucking bills? Straight up. You want me to give you my time, you want me to come through kill, you want me to get my motherfucking hair done, my makeup done and everything else, just to come out and go on a motherfucking date, and we ain't talking about no bills. Okay? Real men get time from me. Real men get the fuck with me. Cause real men pay bills. You little motherfucking boys want to take a bitch out to eat, take a bitch to the movies. I don't want to do that 2019. The only thing I want from a nigga is my bills paid.
Okay, guys. So as you can see in that clip that I just played, the woman was extremely belligerent in expressing how she felt about men asking her out on dates, offering to take her places. And the only thing that she wanted to discuss is if you are going to pay her bills. This is a new occurrence that a lot more women are starting to gravitate toward. And this is extremely problematic because what she is expressing is that she doesn't even want to get to know the man if he's not offering to pay her bills. My outlook on that is that anyone who is not in a committed relationship with you, living under the same roof with you, who you're married to, there's no way in the world that these women should be expecting for a man who they just met to pay their bills. As you can see, I think that there was a sentence at the top that was showing that this woman had the expectation that a man needed to pay her bills to even talk to her. She said she didn't want to go to the movie. She didn't want to go on a date or anything like that if paying her bills was not being discussed. Oddly enough, there were too many women that agreed with that. And my thing of it is that how are you even expecting a man to pay a bill for you when he doesn't know you? He hasn't had the opportunity to have a conversation with you. This is a very backwards way of thinking. And unfortunately, too many women are starting to gravitate toward this way of thinking. And there's a lot of women that laugh and, commend this type of behavior. And truthfully speaking, it's not funny at all. Because when you think about it, when men are upfront like this and they demand different things from women, when they come right out and tell a woman that they're looking for sex on the first night. They're looking for sex without a relationship. They're looking for sex with no strings attached. That is seen as toxic masculinity. But on the other hand, when women come out and say that they don't even want to have a conversation with the man, if he's not offering to pay a bill, and you have women high-fiving and laughing and going along with this like there's nothing wrong with it, that is the backwards way of thinking that I am referring to. And like I said before, some women have a tendency to not see the error in their ways and get very, very offended when they're called out on this type of behavior. And this is something that, these women are passing on to the young girls in society. And this is something that these women are also doing. They're making men feel like if they can't meet these ridiculous demands, then they're not men. And unfortunately, there are too many men that are going along with this. But I'm going to get into the men in a moment, because for right now, I just want to speak to the women, because this is really, really troubling to me. I don't understand why so many women feel that this type of behavior is acceptable. I've seen countless women saying that, Applebee's is not a date. And honestly, if a man is taking you out to get to know you, who's to say that he needs to spend $400 on that first date? And if you think that sounds ridiculous, there are a lot of women that feel like the first dates should be hundreds of dollars. Now, if a guy wants to do that for you, that's fine. But to demand that from someone who doesn't even know you, I personally feel that that is sending the wrong message. And like I said before, it's really muddying the waters in the dating pool for women who are looking for meaningful relationships with men. It is giving men the image that, the only thing that majority of women are interested in them for is money. And, that's not the case with many women. A lot of women are looking for meaningful relationships, and a lot of women are looking to build something with men. But when you have these women out here who, make this a standard in order to date them, like I said before, again, it is really muddying the waters for the dating scene for women who don't operate like this. But I digress on that particular topic because, like I said before, I just feel like it's utterly ridiculous for women to be demanding these types of ridiculous things from men that they just met. And unfortunately, it makes it harder for men to be able to approach women because a lot of times they don't know who does and who does not think like this. But as we get closer to wrapping up, I do want to touch on another point that is really, really, really bothering me. And one of those things is that in relationships, at times, you have women who demand a lot of their boyfriend, spouse, or whoever. They demand a lot of their time. And they don't see anything wrong with that. They don't see a problem with demanding that their partner spend majority of the time that they have, majority of their free time with them. And what that does is it isolates men from being able to have, free time to hang with their friends, different family members, to have that men time, that guy time that is really needed. That men of that time. And I don't think that, women should feel that that they should deprive men of that time that they need with their friends. There's a lot of women who shame men into giving them all of their attention and time. And that is a detriment to any relationship. But I'm going to pause on that point. A comment came in from Brittany Cottingham, and she says, truth, and it's sad that women have gotten in their minds that it's okay. Makes them sound like whores. Another comment came in from Andre. He says, got me effed up. So I want to respond to Brittany really quickly because it's funny that you said that. a lot of women don't see a problem with selling sex. And again, like I said, that really muddies the waters for women who want to have meaning relationships with men. Um, like I said before, a lot of these women, they don't see a problem with their toxic character traits. And this is something that is beginning to have an extreme uptick because it is going unchecked. And that is one of the main reasons why I really wanted to discuss this tonight, because I see a lot of men talking about this. I see a lot of men voicing their concerns about how they're being treated in relationships and how it's basically going under the radar. How they're being treated in general by women. And like I said before, there has to be accountability from women as well. We demand a lot of accountability from men, but a lot of times we fail to check ourselves. And that's something that we really have to do. Excuse me, it's not easy to do that, but it's something that is very, very necessary. And it's something that we can't continue to, go out into society and feel that it's okay that just because we're women, that we're automatically in the right. That's not the case in many instances. And honestly, we need to just examine that a little bit more. Um, the next thing that I wanted to touch on is making it difficult for men to see their children. This is something that I feel is very disheartening, because I see a lot of men who really, really, really want to have relationships with their children, and they have to basically go through hell and high water to get the mother to cooperate. And unfortunately, these toxic women feel like they have the upper hand in every situation. And it's not like the court system makes it any easier for men who would like to see their children. But again, there are situations that you can get into where you do not have to go through this. But also, like I said before, the court system should not make it hard for men to be able to see their children, because these toxic women, they will use the children as a weapon against the men. And I was watching a show. I was watching the show Girlfriends, and I remember the character Maya. She had a friend who and her and the friend, they were in the parking lot at a store, and the father approached the friend and he told her, "Look, it's been months since I've seen my sons. I want to see my kids." And she told him to write them a letter. And although it was just a show, it really upset me, because I was like, there are situations where there are so many men who are in these situations where they want to see their children, and they're fighting in and out of court, going back and forth just to be able to see their children, as though they don't have a right to see their children. And what a lot of these women don't realize is that men have just as much parental rights as women do. You should never feel as though you should take a child away from their father. But a lot of these women, and unfortunately, because they're scorned, they're hurt, they may be upset that the relationship didn't work out, or they just basically and simply are trying to make the man's life a living hell. And again, as a woman, I feel like it is very important to speak out against this, because a lot of times men feel like they are voiceless. And I don't see why we should put men in that situation. Again, with this conversation tonight, I really wanted to inspire someone who may be operating like this to just examine and analyze the way that you're behaving, and to try to understand that, just because we're women, it doesn't mean that we have the right to feel like we can treat men this way. A lot of times in society, men, they take a lot of flack. And it's not that, in some instances, men don't cause some of these situations, but I feel like it goes to the extreme when a man is begging to see his child and the woman is basically using the child as a weapon and making it extremely difficult for that father to see their children. Um, I'm going to jump back into the comments really quickly. If there's anybody who would like to add anything to the conversation before we wrap up, please go ahead and leave your comments now, and I will get to them before the closing of the live stream. Again, if you are commenting on YouTube, excuse me. Now, now that I've basically said everything that I wanted to say to the women, I do want to say this to the men because I think that if men would stop thinking with their little head so much and think with their big head, some of these situations could be curved. And what I mean by that is, I was watching a video a little bit earlier, a very vile video, and it was actually some women. It was actually white women, and they were expressing how they really feel about Black men. And if you want to go ahead and check out that video, I believe it's on YouTube. But just very vile things they were saying about men. But what was most shocking is that there was a man who commented on the video, and he said that, well, there's a lot of men who don't get sex as much as they would like to. So it is what it is. And I was like, wow. I can't believe that men would allow themselves to be used as a tool by women because of sex. But unfortunately, this is something that we see far too often. And, my question to men is, why do you allow yourselves to be in this situation for sex? You, whether you realize it or not, you're allowing women to use sex as a weapon against you. Because if a woman knows that she can treat you however she feels and you're going to accept it because you're looking to get sex out of you to do it, she's going to take it to the extreme. So I do feel like men need to really think about how they allow women to use their bodies as a bargaining tool. And if you don't want to be mistreated, then you're definitely going to have to start having more respect for yourself. I know a lot of times, it's seen as something that's funny, or something that men just do. But when you think about it, a lot of times men get into these situations because they're chasing sex. They're chasing someone that they're attracted to, and they don't understand that a lot of these problems could be prevented if men would just value themselves a little bit more. And I'm not saying this to blame men for, the way some of these women are treating them, because some women just really don't care. And, that's an issue within itself. But again, if you're going to allow someone to treat you that way because you're sexually attracted to them, then you can't really expect for them to respect you, because they know that the thing that they have is the thing that you want. And you're going to allow this behavior to continue just as long as it's something that you're getting. And again, I know men usually don't talk about self respect and things to that nature. Is not something that they really talk about in the open, but it's something that men need to demand for themselves as well. Because again, like I said, if a woman knows that she can mistreat you simply because you want sex, that is what she is going to do. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the live stream really quickly. But before I do, again, I want to invite everyone to my website, shellyspeakstruth.urbancountryfilms.com. Again, that's shellyspeakstruth.urbancountryfilms.com. Please visit my website. Go ahead and check out my book. Again, very, very excited about the re-release of my book, Grown Little Girls. You can go ahead and check out the Facebook page for the book and get some more information on the storyline. Again, the relaunch will be coming early 2021. Again, um, if you would like to pre-order the book, you can do that at the website as well. So everyone, please go ahead and check that out. I would like to thank the sponsors, buhosting.com, again, for putting these live streams together every week and bringing the important and necessary conversations to the community, the things that I feel is very, very important that we discuss as a group. I appreciate everyone who joined tonight. Again, I really appreciate each and every one of my viewers. I couldn't do it without you guys. And again, before I close, anybody who would like to just throw another comment in the comment section, you can go ahead and leave that now. If there isn't any more comments, again, I would like to just thank everyone for tuning in tonight. I hope that, you were able to receive something from tonight's conversation. I really hope that, if there's any women out there who are engaging in these toxic behaviors, please go ahead and share this video. Let's get the message out there. So hopefully we can inspire these women to examine and, learn the error of their ways so that we can begin to bridge the gaps and build a bridge between men and women, which is really much needed in society today, because we're really starting to lose our connection to each other. And I think that's something that we need to begin to mend. We need to begin to mend relationships. We need to, again, treat each other the way that we would like to be treated. Like I said before, women want respect from men and men want respect from women. And that is something that should be mutual. So, again, I hope everyone enjoyed tonight's live discussion. Please join me here every Monday night at 8 for more live discussions. Please remember to leave a comment in the comment section, and also join the live chat, call in, and let's just keep the conversations going. Again, I want to thank you all for watching, and good night.
Good morning. Now, I know you didn't do this just to win an election.
No.
Good morning.
This guy. Why are we making a federal case out of this?
The time is now.
You have one mouth and two ears for a reason.
Good morning.
This guy.